Hey guys, we were given an assignment to talk about Goodwill as an organization and talk about some of the problems that it faces, going through daily activities and tackling key questions such as how to attract millennials, what the current conditions for the thrift environment is, and so on and so forth. Before we jump off into it, I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of precursor to Goodwill as an organization. Goodwill's been around since 1902. It was founded by Methodist minister Edgar J. Helms, where he would go around the wealthier parts of his city and he would gather up goods of various sorts and things like that. He would then employ people to repurpose these items to make them better, to fix them, if you will, and then he actually ended up employing these people and then reselling the goods and kind of redistributing things back into the company. And one of his famous quotes was actually born from this way of doing things, and it was, he believed in giving a hand up, not a hand out. And his vision has stayed true to this day, where his Goodwill organization has turned into a $4 billion industry, basically, and it has an immediate impact on the community around the organization where it functions. And Goodwill has said to want to help over 20 million people and make them self-sufficient by 2020. And while Goodwill tries to enhance its business impact on the community, it also has questions, like I said before, about how to attract millennials and things like that. To possibly help in Goodwill's endeavors, me and my group, we dug a little deeper than the surface and gathered information and our opinions on to see what can help Goodwill improve or change to keep up with the times.
Hello, my name is Clay Gill. I am doing the business level strategy for Goodwill Industries. I wanted to start out with talking about how the two main strategies that I felt that I came across the most were the cost-effective strategy that Goodwill has in place. It's a very effective strategy. It's one of the most effective that's out there in the market today. The other one that I wanted to talk about was basically kind of the nonprofit strategy that Goodwill goes by. Let's see, when you look at the cost-effective strategy that Goodwill has, there really aren't as many companies, or there aren't many companies out there that do as good a job as Goodwill does at keeping costs down. Since the products are donated, then resold, as long as they meet the good condition criteria. The cost as far as production for the products that they sell is extremely, it's non-existent, donations. So to combat this, normally the public idea would think that we don't want a part of anybody that does something like that. But Goodwill is good about spinning that and keeping the public outlook of them in a good light by doing the career outreach programs. They also do they pay for schooling, and they do a lot of fundraising events. That would be part of the nonprofit strategy. The cost efficient strategy that they have in place is it has not been reproduced on a large scale like Goodwill has implemented it by any other company. And the only suggestions that I would have to make about the business strategy is when it comes down to marketing. Goodwill could do a better job of marketing, especially to millennials. Some thoughts that I have on that would be to basically, whenever millennials are putting on these new apps and they're downloading new things on the computers and on the phones and everything else, there's always commercials. Well, Goodwill, I believe, needs to get involved in that industry. they need to get involved in that form of advertisement if they want to bring more awareness to themselves with the millennial age group.
Hello, Goodwill. My name is Kurt Scorza. I'll be going over the external environment. What I've noticed from my research is that the high unemployment rate tends to give you all more business. That because when there's higher unemployment rate, there's more poor people, and you usually get more employees as opposed to lower income, lower unemployment. You would have less business and therefore less employees. Now, with that being said, you should focus on your intention on the lower income areas because that is what you generally appeal to. I would recommend you set up shop and in all lower income areas, as well as setting up drop-off locations in higher income areas. And that is, I say that because higher income areas such as Williamson County tend to have much more higher income people who drop off nicer things and are more willing to donate such items. And therefore, when you take those to your shops in those lower income areas, it'd be more appealing to the lower class. Also, your major competitors in Middle Tennessee right now are Walmart, Dollar General, there's Grace Works, and Salvation Army. Right now, a majority of them are concentrated, have their shop set up in Nashville and some parts of Murfreesboro and some parts of Franklin. Grace Works, in particular, has only one shop location in Fairview. There are no other competitors in there, and none of y'all have anything set up there, so I would strongly recommend y'all to look into invest in possibly setting up a shop in Fairview, as it would appeal to your to the kind of people that you attract.
Hey guys, it's Will again. I was given the opportunity to look at the strengths and weaknesses which make up part of the internal environment for Goodwill organization as a whole. To do this, I did actually use a SWOT analysis and just focused on the first two parts, which is strength and weakness. Some of the strengths that I saw right up front with Goodwill is basically the way they generate and how they allocate their funds that they do have. Goodwill does not do any type of fundraising in Middle Tennessee. They are purely donations only, and this gives them the opportunity to know what they get right out of the box. And they take this money and they actually pour it back into the organization as a whole in areas of need, such as community events and the stores themselves, and getting Goodwill's brand out towards people. Another strength that I saw was actually its willingness to change. Something Goodwill has come to us to try to help them battle is how to track millennials to the company itself. And that kind of brings me into the weakness part of the SWOT analysis, and it just really goes Goodwill's general public view. It's not too strong. Most millennials, in fact, think that Goodwill is more dirty and unorganized and things like that. And so in order to attract them, those things would have to be addressed before other things, seeing as the millennials are more inept to just be negative and have their views reign supreme over their decisions. Another weakness was the budget constraints that are imposed upon Goodwill due to the fact that they are a nonprofit organization, so they don't really have money to borrow or gain from outside sources other than the government to grow or invest or anything like that. And finally, the last weakness that I saw that really impacted them was having to depend on the state of economy. Being a thrift store, it's understandable to see them having to depend on people in tough times and so on and so forth. But just really having to do that, it's kind of limiting who you go after in the public. So In order to get millennials in there and change the outview of the business, a lot of things are going to have to be done in regards to these strengths and weaknesses.
Hi, my name is Tyler Rollison, and I'm going to be going over the financials for Goodwill Industries of Middle Tennessee. I'd like to start by saying Goodwill is a nonprofit organization. They employ roughly 2,100 people in 48 counties. They have about 36 retail stores, over 80 donation sites, as well as 29 career centers. Goodwill generates most of its revenue from its retail sales. In 2014, this made up about 60% of their total revenue. This is also an increase from 2013, which is roughly 54%. Government grants and contributions make up less than 1% of their total revenue. Goodwill spends most of its earnings on programs within the community. Their program service expense ratio in 2014 as well as 2013 was roughly 89%. This ratio measures the relationship of funds associated with their particular cause. Goodwill is well above the industry average, which is about 65%. Goodwill's debt-to-asset ratio was around 35%. This is a fairly common figure for larger companies. This indicates that Goodwill is reasonably leveraged. Their savings indicator is just over 1%. This savings indicator shows that the increase and decrease in the ability for the company to add to its net assets. Based on this ratio, it seems that Goodwill of Middle Tennessee is using their funds and not contributing much to savings or their overall total net assets. So they're spending what they make on the programs or the community, things like that. Overall, Goodwill of Middle Tennessee seems to have a solid financial system, with most of the profits moving directly to the community and employment programs, which they still managed to save some money in 2013 and 2014. The difference in ratios that I ran also indicates that it seems the market is fairly stable. There wasn't much difference from 2013 to 2014. Things that I could do, or that I would say they need to do in order to grow and continue prospering would be, searching out for new areas, getting into those marketplaces, owning properties, where their retail sales are going to be, so they could capitalize on, if the market actually increases on that real estate. Also, reinvest into the stores, making sure that it's a clean environment and it's customer friendly.
Hi, my name is Erica Baldu, and I am just going to discuss some of the challenges that we feel Goodwill faces today to stay to remain a top competitor within the donation business. One of the main things that we feel Goodwill faces is just the basic state of the economy. If the economy is doing well, people may not feel inclined to go to a store and do thrift shopping. They may want to go out and buy the newest fashionable clothing that they've seen, on the internet or peers of their own age wear. Another thing is when you go to donate clothing to Goodwill, a lot of times when you're going through your closet, you're going to throw out clothes that you feel you haven't worn in a long time or that you will never wear in the future. So when those clothes are donated to Goodwill and someone goes in the store to buy it, they might feel like, well, these clothes aren't trendy or they're not fashionable, so I don't want to shop here. I want to, go to the mall and buy something new. Another thing we feel are just technological advances in the faster paced environment today. You have things like Craigslist or apps like Garage Sale where people can go on and just find an item that they like, negotiate the price down to where they feel comfortable paying, and then it's all local, so they can just go pick up the item whenever it's convenient for them. You have retailers like Walmart or Dollar General that also offer low pricing, so people are also inclined to shop there. You have places, like a children's thrift store or Plato's Closet, where you automatically know, walking into those, who you're buying for, what age group those can tend to. Walking in Goodwill, there's a wide array of items that can be sold to anyone. So a lot of people just feel, from what we believe, feel that walking into Goodwill, they feel a little overwhelmed having to sift through the items, and it takes a little more time when people want convenience or something simple like an app that they can go onto and just pick out what they want and have it delivered straight to them. So those are some of the challenges that we feel Goodwill faces.
Hi, it's Clay again. Finishing up this presentation that we have for you. Collectively, we've come up with a list of recommendations that we would like to put out there as possible solutions to different things that we've touched on in our presentation. One of the big key ones that we wanted to talk about was advertising, more advertising, and how that can affect sales and help the company out as a whole. We were thinking more along the lines of, advertising, like just in general, but more focused towards the millennials would be advertising such as like, within apps that people buy on their phones and things of that nature. Another thing that we thought of is to open up locations, Dropbox locations in higher income areas, and basically to where, when those higher income people come in with better merchandise, then you can move that across to different locations and have a more higher variety of products to choose from. We also were thinking of, in the higher locations, if your donations aren't what you are expecting them to be, then another way to get those higher income households involved would be to do an exchange, sort of like Plato's Closet has in play, where there's some sort of payment that's made for some of the merchandise. Now, that means that you have to mark up stuff and everything else, but people would be more inclined to donate, or not so much donate, but if they knew there was some kind of incentive to bring it, an item. The other things that we touched on was, just to open up more locations in lower income areas, and basically refine the systems of within the stores for the people that the employees that are working there, the way that the products are set up on the shelves in the store itself, just in general, all around, just kind of refining and making sure that everything is intact and easier to access. Maybe, have the stores be a little cleaner, things of that nature. That way these millennials that are coming up will not have such a poor image of Goodwill. All that being said, I believe that I think I've covered on all the points that we wanted to talk about. And again, we appreciate you taking the time to watch our presentation. Thanks.